Okay. Okay. There we go. Oh, there's this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Give me a second, everyone. I'm just trying to organize stuff so I can have my iPad standing up. There we go. Okay, we are going to try the bit I was stuck on. Again, I took a break. As you can see, it's a new day. And I am going to try and beat this without trying to lose my mind. So let's see how this goes.
Prepare yourselves. Shoot! Hold fire! Wait for my signal. Open fire. Hold fire. Go. Hold fire. Fire! Make ready. Hold fire. Fire now.
Okay.
Hold fire. Wait for the signal.
Yeah.
Fire now. Hold fire. Open fire. Prepare yourselves. Fire now. Make ready. Fire!
Gotta go to the other group.
Hold fire. Go.
Let them fire, let them clean their guns.
Hold fire. Hold fire. Fire now.
Clean their guns.
Wait for my signal. Wait for the shoot.
Okay. Bridge.
Wait for the six. Shoot. Prepare Prepare yourself. Go!
Shoot. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to the other group
Prepare
now.
yourselves. Fire!
Shoot. Oh, I did it! I did it! I did it! I did it! Did it! Did it! Did it! Fuck yeah! Oh, I'm so fucking happy! That took me so much longer than what it should have. I think it was yesterday or the day before. That took me so much longer than what it should have when I did it.
It takes a true monster to do something like this. At least they're gone.
I should have struck when I had the chance. Do you know where Pitcairn could have gone?
Back into the withered bosom of the British, no doubt. So that he may regroup and plan his next atrocity.
I need to find him. Every day I wait, more will suffer.
Chin up, friend. Many who should have died today now live because of you.
And what of them?
We do the best we can with what we've got.
It is not enough.
It never is.
Mwah. I'm so happy I did it. I am. Oh. Thank you.
For the support of the glorious cause. I beg they will accept my most cordial thanks for this distinguished testimony of their approbation. But lest some unlucky event should happen, unfavorable to my reputation, I beg it may be remembered by every gentleman in the room that I, this day, declare with utmost sincerity, I do not think myself equal to the command I am honored with.
Truly, there
As
is
to
no
pay,
man better
sir,
suited
I
to the
beg leave
task.
to assure
Really?
the Congress that
I
as
can
no
think of several.
pecuniary consideration could have
Charles
tempted me to have
Lee.
accepted
Did-
this arduous employment at the
Do I
expense
know
of my
you?
domestic
Sit
I
needs
would
down.
not
and
expect
happiness.
you to remember.
Sit down.
Connor,
Make
there's
any
someone I
profit
want you to
from.
meet.
I will keep an
Thank
exact
you,
account
Samuel.
of my expenses.
Sorry to pull you away
Those
like
I
that,
doubt
but
not they
the
will
last thing
discharge,
we need
and
is
that
the
is
two
all
of
I
you
desire.
coming to blows. Now, Connor, allow me to introduce you to our newly appointed Commander-in-Chief, George Washington.
Ah, so you're the one who saved Sam and John at Lexington.
It was the Patriots who did that. I merely lent support.
As humble as he is brave. We could use more men like you. I'm sorry, but if you'll excuse me, I should attend to Charles over there. He looks none too happy about being passed over for command. It was good to meet you, Connor.
George Washington, the first
Tell me you have news of
president
Pitcairn.
of the United
Told
States.
He's taken shelter in Boston, where he's guarded by 1,000 redcoats. The only way you're gonna get at him is if we draw him out. Now, lucky for you, we're launching an offensive against the city in order to do just that. Israel Putnam has been given command of our forces. Present this to him and he'll provide whatever aid you require. You'll find him at the encampment on Bunker Hill.
You have my thanks.
No need. It's the least I could do. Pitcairn's a dangerous man. The sooner we're rid of him, the better.
I would say the same of Charles Lee.
Now that's an altogether different beast. Let us leave it for another day. Best you head to Boston, Connor.
George Washington, the first president of the United States. And Cards Against Humanity that I played like last year. had a card about George Washington, and I won that round because of a card I pulled. That is so fucking true, but I won't say what was on that card. No. Nah. Why should I? Okay, where do I have to go? That way. Okay. As most of you know... Ooh. Before I read this, as most of you know, I'm Australian. But the shit that has been done to our native people and the native Indians is fucking disgusting. I mean, the shit that is still going on. 1710. Oh, I was about to say, hey, on March is before April. Anyway, date April 19th, 1775 to March 17th, 1776. So nearly a year. The siege of Boston began right after the battles of Lexington and Concord. The colonial militia who had gathered to stop the British raids followed the British army to Boston and camped outside, bottling British troops and their loyalist allies in the city. At the time, Boston was a peninsula attached to the mainland by a thin strip of land known as Boston Neck. With this blocked, land access to the city was cut off. The siege lasted for most of a year with only one major battle, Bunker Hill. But, as with many sieges, it took a toll on the city of Boston. There were shortages, particularly of firewood, and many buildings were torn down to be used as fuel. Of course, the British targeted any rebel-associated buildings for destruction. As a result, things like the Liberty Tree and the pews of the Old South Meeting House ended up inside a fireplace. The siege ended shortly after the rebels attacked and fortified Dorchester Heights to the south of Boston. Sorry, had an itchy ear. Giving them the ability to fire on the harbor, Boston's governor decided to evacuate rather than fight. On March 17th, Loyalist ships sailed out of the city. March 17th is now known as Evacuation Day and is a holiday in some parts of Massachusetts. The fact that it is also St. Patrick's Day is mere coincidence. As if it's a mere coincidence. Though it is said that in ancient Gaelic, evacuation means drinking as many pints as possible and being sick in a bin. So you never know. Any frontier. Battle of Lexington and Concord. Date April 19th, 1775. On the night of April 18th, 1775, British regulars left Boston on their way to Concord to raid rebel weapons stores. The intent was to make a quick raid, defuse rebel plans to attack the British, and capture instigators John Hancock and Samuel Adams. Unfortunately for the British, the result was the beginning of the American Revolution. In other words, this battle was a complete disaster for the British, and that's not a sentence with which I'm 100% comfortable. Sean, we get it. You're British. Suck it up. The rebels had been tipped off about raids weeks before. They'd already moved most of the weapons the British were looking for. The night before the battle, Paul Revere and William Dawes brought word that the British were on their way. So by the time the regulars marched into Lexington near door, the local militia was waiting for them. Nobody knows who fired the first shot. The British blamed the rebels and vice versa. But in the end, the Lexington militia was badly outnumbered and retreated, and the British moved on to Concord. By most reports, the British were polite in Concord, which I'm sure their mothers would have been delighted to hear about. All apart from one moment, of course, when John Pitcairn threatened a local tavern owner at gunpoint. But to be fair, the tavern owner did know where the weapons caches were. Overall, things didn't really go away until nearby militia saw some smoke rising above the town. They thought it was on fire and marched in, causing a skirmish at the North Bridge. By the time the British left Concord, more militia had arrived, outnumbering the regulars and raising tensions further. The new troops followed the British along the road, bravely firing at them from behind walls and covers of trees. There was little the British could do to fight back, and they were tired, and mostly out of ammunition. Some of the regulars even broke ranks and fled. For the rest, it was a long walk back to Boston. Rather than dispersing after the battle, the militia gathered outside of Boston Neck, starting the siege of Boston and the beginnings of the Continental Army. I do have more. Okay. Groups. We'll do this first. Continental Congress. Fucking hellbrain. Continental Congress. You might think of the Continental Congress as a gathering of boring politicians, which it was, but they were also responsible for organizing the revolution and making decisions about the United States government, which also makes them rather dull. Sorry, important. I should actually say the Continental Congresses because there was more than one. The first Continental Congress was convened in 1774 in Philadelphia to oppose the closing of Boston Harbor following the Boston Tea Party, part of the coercive acts. All of the politicians had such a lovely time at their first meeting that they agreed to have another party just exactly like it. And why not? Everyone loves a party. Right after the battles at Lexington and Concord, being men of great imagination, they called this the Second Continental. So despite their lack of flair for titles, they clearly had some thinkers among them. The Third Continental Congress was convened in 1781. It's sometimes known as the Congress of Confederation. And despite how mind-aching tedious that sounds, they were responsible for forming a government for a brand new United States, since getting everyone to agree on how that government should work took some time. The Confederation Congress met over the course of 8 years, ending in 1789, while the Constitution passed and they were replaced by the United States government. Now, I've been in some long meetings, but 8 years takes the biscuit. I pity whoever was recording the minutes. Any more? No? Individuals. James Barrett, born 1710. James Barrett was a colonel in the rebel militia for Concord and the town's representative, in the Boston legislature in the years leading up to the Revolution. Barrett didn't exactly want the position at the head of the militia. He was 65 when the war started. He had his pipe and slippers ready and probably just wanted to watch game shows. Unfortunately for him, experienced commanders were in short supply, and Barrett had fought in the French and Indian War, so colonel it was. When the British came to Lexington and Concord looking for rebel weapons cache, troops headed straight to Barrett's farm, where they were told they'd find the majority of the supplies. Of course, by the time they arrived, most of the weapons had been removed and hidden elsewhere. Barrett wasn't there either. He was some distance away organizing the militia march on the North Bridge and overseeing the eventual victory at Concord. Oh, there's another one. Who? Oh, John Pitcairn, updated. You know what, I'm just going to reread this. John Pitcairn, born 1722. In 1754, John was a young captain in the British Marine Corps. He fought in the French and Indian War, but I cannot find much about his postings. He's listed as being on the HMS Lancaster during the capture of Louisbourg. That's in Canada. No record of him being on the American side of the colonies, but it seems he did some convert work as well. That would explain the lack of details. Pitcairn was promoted to major in 1771. Give me a second, just replying to a message. John Pitcairn was promoted to major in 1771, and he gained a reputation for being well liked by his subordinates and praised by his enemies. That's a difficult trick to pull off. Maybe he had a lovely smile. Here we go, here's the update. When Thomas Gage sent British troops to Lexington and Concord, he picked Pitcairn for the job, figuring the rebels would listen to him when it came to time to talk. Instead, Pitcairn was the man in charge when his Marines killed 8 militiamen at the Battle of Lexington, starting the Revolutionary War, severely damaging his reputation as a peacemaker. Multiple deaths can do that. Pitcairn's report on the battle said he had ordered his men not to fire unless the rebels fired first, but that didn't stop the rumors that he commanded the attack. History takes a kind of view. Pitcairn is now considered, as one patriot described him, a good man in a bad cause. Locations. Frontier. North Bridge. This was the site of one of the first skirmishes in the Revolutionary War. During the battle at Concord, about 90 British soldiers held this bridge, while several hundred rebel militiamen gathered on the hill nearby. The British were experiencing resistance from disorganized farmers, so when the rebels advanced in a very militia manner, the British panicked. Angry farmers are terrifying at the best of times. Officers gave conflicting orders, the British formations broke, and the soldiers ran away. The original bridge was torn down in 1788 and a new bridge was built nearby. Of course, it's been rebuilt several times. The image of the British turning tail is excellent fodder for historical reenactments, which Americans enjoy reenacting, but which never seem to be reenacted on our side of the Atlantic. Strange that. No, not really, because it's the American Revolutionary War, which means the Americans were fighting against the British. And yes, some natives Indians did join in that fight because, you know, they were there first. So it's not strange that the reenactments aren't happening on British soil because, to be fair, the Revolutionary War did not happen on British soil. It happened on American soil. So it's not strange that... another one. It's not strange that the reenactments aren't happening on British soil because, again, it did not happen on British soil. It happened on American soil. So, yes, Americans have a right to reenact the Revolutionary War because it's part of their history. It's part of their history. Yeah, it could be part of British history, but at the same time, the Redcoats, who are British soldiers, lost. Lexington is a small farming community and the site of the first battle of the American Revolution started. No, I'm not being overly dramatic. The first battle took place on Lexington Green. On the morning of April 19th, 1775, British regulars passed through Lexington on their way to Concord, looking for hidden rebel weapon caches. The Lexington militia, led by John Parker, formed up on the village green, probably more in a show of resistance than because they were expecting a real battle. The militia was badly outnumbered, about 70 of them to 700 British soldiers. John Pitcairn ordered the rebels to disperse, and they might have done so, except somebody fired a shot. Then everyone started firing. Those that weren't running, that is. Several militia members were killed. The rest retreated. The British moved on toward Concord, though they would be harassed by the Lexington militia again on their return trip toward Boston. Lexington's town motto is now, "What a glorious morning for America," though it's possible it didn't seem like one at the time. Firing guns and then running away since 1775 might have been a nice alternative. Every town needs a bumper sticker. Okay, here's what I'm confused about. How did it go from 700 British regulars to about 70 for Concord? Lexington and Concord. Regulars confront militia, shots fired. Americans forever bear in mind the Battle of Lexington, where British troops, unmolested and unprovoked, wantonly and in a most inhumane manner, fired upon and killed a number of our countrymen. The events, as well as can be discerned, transpired thusly. Alerted by messengers that a regiment of regulars were en route through Mentonomy to destroy caches of munitions in Concord and vicinity, militia forces convened, drawing members from as far away as Sudbury, Acton, Lincoln, and Bedford. The first such force stood against the regulars on Lexington Green, just 7 miles from Concord proper. Commanded by Captain John Parker, the colonial militia, numbering some few dozens of members, stood ground as the brigade under Major Pitcairn marched in column along the Concord Road. Accounts of what ensued remain confused, but militia members claimed that they never fired any shots, but were fired upon by the regulars, suffering them 8 deaths and a number of wounded. Captain Parker led his men from the field, and the column of murderous regulars continued to Concord. At the town of Concord, another brigade of militia under command of Colonel James Barrett saw fit to fall back across the North Bridge as the regulars numbered a much larger force. Atop the hill, Barrett watched the regulars search for munitions and was gladdened by the additions of militia forces arriving from diverse townships. In short order, Colonel Barrett discovered that he outnumbered the small force of regulars sent to secure the bridge and commenced to march upon them. Some few of these endeavored to dislodge planks of the bridge to delay the advance of the militia, but they were called off by their superior. Volleys were exchanged and men on both sides fell, resulting in the regulars quitting the field. The large army force concluded its fruitless search and turned toward Boston, only to meet with a series of flanking maneuvers and attacks in formation by the militia. The force would certainly have been entirely destroyed had it not been for Brig Gen Percy's arrival with reinforcements to escort them back through the hills of musket balls to Charleston. Thus have shots been fired between ourselves and our cousins from across the sea. The Rubicon has been crossed. Americans, liberty or death, join or die. There we go. What's this? Give me a second. I just gotta check something. Fucking hell. Oh. What is the email for this? Sorry about that, everyone. What? Oh. How do I attack that? I ain't attacking that. Excuse me. I mean, I would because I am calm fuming at the moment, but I ain't risking to die. Yes, I know. The enemy convoy is leaving. Excuse me for a second. I'm still going to be gaming, but I'm just going to be muting my microphone. So, I'll unmute when I'm ready.
Hold and state your...
I'm looking for Israel Putnam.
On whose orders?
Samuel Adams.
Follow me.
This is not Bunker Hill.
Aye, it's Briggs. There's been some disagreement as to where we should encamp.
Any news from Boston?
The Tories aren't moving, and any time we try to press them, we lose a dozen men. I think Putnam and the others plan to assemble artillery on these hills. A good shelling might make the Redcoats rethink their strategy.
And what of John Pitcairn?
That bastard's the cagiest of the bunch. He's appeared time to time to taunt us or send regards by way of cannon fire. It's all right, though. He'll have what's coming to him soon enough. Putnam's just up ahead. You can't miss.
I don't care much for your excuses, gentlemen. We could be building on Bunker Hill. Breeds is closer to the city, but it is also closer to their artillery!
Our orders came from men so divorced from the situation, we are compelled by reason.
I rest my case. I'm going back to Bunker Hill. Good day, gentlemen!
General Putnam,
What?
I'm looking for John Pitcairn. I was told you would be able to help me find him.
He's stuck away inside their city with no reason to leave. As long as that ship continues its assault, we'll never flush him out.
But if the ship was silenced,
Oh, then poor John might be forced to get off his arse and come forward.
I shall fly this flag to signal my success.
And I shall speak fondly of you at your funeral.
War has definitely started. Fuck me. Well, we're in Boston. And it's the start of the Revolutionary War. So, you know. I'm not joining in the battle. Well, it wasn't for me, ladies and gents. I can prove my messages to you. I can show my messages. Yeah, come on. Come on. Who's next? I don't care about not being detected. I really don't fucking care. Damn it! I died. So here's the thing. Right? I don't know who could be behind this. I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh shit. Yeah. Now I gotta do the flags. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Ah, no! Ooh. Fuck me, that was close. Oh, I only had to do one ship. I was going to do the other one too.
Tremble. They've better numbers, you say. Better weapons, better training. But I do not fear. And neither should you. For what they have in material, they lack in conviction and care. But not us. We have discipline. We have order. And most importantly, we have passion. We believe. So maintain vigilance. Serve your ammo. Ensure a proper line of sight. And above all else, men, do not fire until you see the whites of their eyes. Well, I'll be damned. You did it.
That was quite a speech.
Lies, all of it, I'm afraid. Still, such words have carried us thus far.
And what of Pitcairn?
He's left Boston, as I said he would, and set up camp on Molten Hill. There's no good way to get at him. Not with that maelstrom brewing down below. I suppose you could circle around a bit and wait for us to thin their ranks.
There is no time. I will have to chance a direct approach.
That's twice today you proposed the impossible.
I see no other choice.
Not because you're mad as a March hare, son.
I expect an apology when I return.
We are going to redo this. So. Over here. Go the other way. Okay. Damn it! Why are you lot following me? Get back down. I think that tree branch. Wait. Now. Fuck. Get there, get there, get there. Fucking get there. No! Fucking hell, Connor. Why are these men following me? Okay. Over there's my next cover. Good, good. Don't jinx yourself, fire. Okay. Go, 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 go. Yes! Oh, I did it. And I got the adjectional adjective. Objective. Yeah, hi. Let's see you try this. Fuck. Now! Get up! Oh, you bitch. You know what? Fuck you. I have to get up there somehow. No! Meow. Meow. Get down. Good boy. Okay. No. There. There. Eh. Oh, now you're using your guns. Guess what? Later. Boom. 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 Come on. There we go. So now, air assassinate begin without being detected. Limit regulars kills. Okay. How to do this, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. Yeah, no, I wasn't here, it wasn't me. Wasn't me. Oh, fucking close. No, I got him! I got you! I fucking got you! Oh, that felt good.
Why did you do this?
To protect Adams and Hancock and those they serve. You meant to kill them.
Kill them? Are you mad? I wanted only to parley. There was so much to discuss. To explain. You've put an end to that now.
If you speak true, then I will carry your last words to them.
They must lay down their arms. They must stop this war.
Why them and not the Redcoats?
Do you not think we asked the same question of the British? These things take time. And it would have succeeded had you let me play my part.
Part of the puppeteer.
Or better, we hold the strings on another.
No, the strings should be severed. All should be free.
And we should live forever on castles in the sky. You wield your blade like a man, but your mouth like a child. And more will die now. Because of it.
Zaho yanere ne otena am da setakwe. Dinio ne yaho tena tam da setakwe.
Run. 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 Oh.
How dare you sneak up on me like that? Watch this girl out there and just help this camp retreat! Don't ever do that again, you hear me? God damn it!
General Putnam.
You live.
The same cannot be said for Pitcairn.
Well done, I suppose. But it matters little now. I'm ordering a full retreat. We have lost too many in exchange for too little. If the Tories want this hill so badly, let them have it. Boston is the true prize.
We have a bigger problem.
What do you mean? This can't be right. It says they plan to murder Washington.
Sequence 7's completed! But we only now have 4 more sequences until the end of Assassin's Creed 3. I feel like I'm gonna do sequence 8 in this one. And then
When money failed them, they took to force. But I have slain Johnson and Pitcairn both, ending their plots. George Washington now rallies the colonists and their march towards freedom begins in earnest. Little wonder, then, that the Templars now want him dead. They seek to reshape this land into something cold and ordered, something soulless. And he is an obstacle. I must save him, that his cause can flourish and my people remain safe. But the more I prod, the greater the chance I am discovered. The Templars believe their men lost the revolution. In their eyes, the assassins are gone and scattered, no longer a threat. But I fear they will soon discover the truth, and me along with it. I must tread carefully.
so
How fares the hunt, Connor?
There is progress, but I worry it is not enough.
You must strike where you need it most. What if you pursued Charles Lee and your father? What then of Paul Revere and the soldiers at Lexington?
Soldiers? There were no soldiers in those towns, only men and women who were forced to defend themselves.
Is this not why you fight? To protect your people? Your struggle is the colonists' struggle. In helping one, you help the other.
Encouraging words from one who thought mine a fool's errand.
Make no mistake, I still do. But I can't help but feel some pride in your success.
And why should I give you any credit?
Then don't. But first, return the robe and the blade and the darts and all of the years of training and knowledge I have bestowed upon you. Return these and
Then your words may have some merit.
Or you could just admit that you are wrong.
Oh, child, please, you've killed 2 men. One more salesman than soldier. You're gonna have to try a lot harder than that to impress me.
Is that so, old man? Or perhaps we should step outside. I will gladly demonstrate how easily I could trounce.
This is Benjamin Talmadge. His father was one of us, no need for secrecy. I think he has something he wants to say.
Achilles tells me you've uncovered a plot to murder the commander-in-chief.
Yes, but I have only false starts and dead ends to show for it.
Not anymore, my friend. Thomas Hickey's your man, and I aim to help you catch him.
How?
I'll explain on the way. You and I are going to New York.
Ooh. Anyway, as I was saying before the cutscene, I'm probably going to do sequence 8. I'm going to do sequence 8, and then the next live stream I'll do sequence 9 and 10. So I should have this finished in about 3 videos. So we shall see how it goes. Where do I have to go? Oh, I have to go to my ship. Well, we'll just fast travel there then. So I should have this in about 3, maybe 4 videos finished, and then we'll do the DLC. Is it in my ship? Yeah. Now I have to go to the frontier. Oh, fuck you. So yeah, and then we'll do the DLC, and then we'll do Liberation, and then Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and then Freedom Cry, because Freedom Cry comes after Black Flag. Dude, you are spam liking, so you are gonna get blocked. I didn't even call for my horse. Where are we going now? I'm just fast traveling everywhere. Makes it easier. Is it cheating? Yeah, it's cheating. Do I care? No, I do not. Okay. Nope. Oh my god. Whoa! No! Oh. Am I going? I don't even know if I'm going the right way. Come on. No, we are not swinging. Is that all that's happened? Okay. Oh, fuck it. There we go. No! Fucking hell. You got up this tree. Now you're saying you can't? Thank you. No. No. Where? Ooh. Gotta look these up on YouTube because how the hell? Assassin's Creed 3 Sequenai. I spelled it wrong. Okay. Oh, that's exactly the one I'm at too. Okay. Hana! Thank you. No. Okay, now let this bit where? Thank you, YouTube. Yeah. What? I thought we were going to travel to New York by boat, but apparently not.
So what is your stake in all this?
Same as yours. Peace, stability. A land in which all might live side by side. Free and equal.
Why not join the Brotherhood then?
My... father was an assassin. Quite good at his job, too, as I understand it. But I hope to have children someday. It's hard to live in two worlds at the same time. So, I chose to live in one.
I understand.
I still contribute as I can. That's why we're here now.
God. So this is New York before the Empire State Buildings and everything.
What can you tell me of Thomas Hickey?
He has been running a counterfeiting ring in the city. Locate the source of his operation, and we can have him arrested. He cannot harm the commander if he is in prison.
Do you know where he is?
Not exactly, but I have an idea where we can begin the search.
I have so much stuff to read. This is going to be awesome. My first synchronization spot.
There are rumors of bad bills being circulated here. No doubt they come from Thomas.
What are you up to? This isn't money. It's colored paper. You've cheated me for the last time. God!
God, even in 1700s. Counterfeiting. Damn it! Oh, stop looking at your phone, Freya. Damn it! I hate these tail ones because it's so annoying. Hang on. I don't necessarily have to tail him. Oops. On foot. Yes, I know. See? You won't think about looking up. He'll look. Oh no, you won't. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get up.
Oh, Daniel, let's put them bills away. The guard is on them. How? What happened? Caught me out. Brought the guard.
Damn it! I was doing so well! And then I wasn't. Now I have to do that all over again. Oh no, I don't.
The New York Chronicle. Buy it here for a penny. Come see the new summer designs at Miss Bracknell's. Daring bodyscots and lighter petticoats to keep you roses from wilting.
God. Well, they're not after me.
Heard what happened at the market. Boss wants everyone back at the shop.
Says we strike tonight. Be worried about that business with the guards. I'm telling you, it's nothing. Haven't had a spot of trouble since I slipped away. Of course, I've taken care to keep my distance. Can't believe we're really gonna do this. We'll be heroes. The ones who ended all this talk of revolution. They'll set us up like kings, they will. Nah, revolution. Bunch of troublemakers looking to upset the apple cart. And some fool filled their heads with rubbish, ruining it for the rest of us good folk.
Good folk? Really?
Of course. You and me and Hickey. Just some hard luck, lad.
Yeah, I know. What?
What's this? Thomas Hickey? Might be. What's it to you? Ain't supposed to be none of your kind left. Suppose I'd best be rectifying that then. Get him!
There's another one! Grab him!
Yeah, whatever. Go, horse. Do not tackle or shove anyone. Well, that failed.
Be still. You will do no more harm. You're a right fool meddling in affairs you know nothing about. Washington's the only thing keeping the Continental Army together. You kill him, you end all hope for freedom. Wrong, boyo. With him gone, they'll have no choice but to promote Lee, and then... You are both under arrest! Oh, but we were just having a scrap, officer. Ain't nothing wrong with two men settling their differences the old-fashioned way. Can't we come to a...
Quiet! What are the charges?
Counterfeiting!
I had nothing to do with that.
Course not!
Listen, there are more important things at stake here. This man is planning to...
Oh, Connor. Yeah, I failed that one. It's fine.
You missed me, sweetheart. What?
Nothing to say.
If you are here, then Washington is safe.
True, true. Thing is, I believe I've just been pardoned. Thank you kindly for the rescue, gents.
There can be no further mistakes, Thomas. Am I understood?
What about the assassin? Yeah, he's here. They put him in a cell right next to mine. Guess we didn't get them all, eh?
Deal with this, Charles.
At once, sir.
What are we gonna do?
You're that boy from the Continental Congress. Adams's little lapdog. I think I have an idea. Yes. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Do tell.
All in good time. It's not like the assassin's going anywhere. For now, we should see about getting you better accommodations here.
What are you on about? I thought I was getting out.
I'm afraid you won't be leaving for a while, thanks to Benjamin Talmadge. He's been running his mouth, saying all sorts of things. You're being investigated for plotting to assassinate George Washington.
What a bunch of bollocks. I thought you was gonna handle that.
We'll discuss this elsewhere.
You're a right royal prick. And to fucking think, I liked you.
I'm telling you, he's planning to escape. We should get in on it.
Yeah? And what makes you think that?
Caught him carving something in the yard. Slipped it in his pocket real quick when he saw me. Looked like a key.
Probably just a shiv.
Nah, Mason ain't a fighter. Always talking and tricking his way out of trouble. Weasel Weems, they call him. Sticky bastard.
Come on, Finch. He's not so bad. Even taught me some letters once. Gonna write a note to my lady.
Ha! What for? You think that whore's out there pining for you? Saving herself for when you get out? Huh? No doubt she's already moved on to the next fella, and the fella after him.
You shut your mouth before I shut it for you.
Easy now. It was just a joke.
Yeah? Well, it wasn't very funny.
Why are we going back to sleep?
Get up!
He fell off the bed.
Where are we going?
Stay out of trouble or you'll wind up in the pit. What are you looking at, half-breed? You not understand English? That it?
Wow.
Do I need to knock some sense into that thick head of yours?
Just a game.
I should try and find this Weems fellow. If he intends to escape, perhaps he can help me.
Over there.
Mason Weems?
Could be.
I need your help.
Oh?
They say you know a way out of here.
They say a lot of things.
I do not have time for games.
A shame, as I was hoping you might play one with me.
Fine.
Are you familiar with the rules?
No. The hell?
Seeing as you already know mine, what's your name?
Connor.
Pleased to meet you, Connor.
I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be
Well
doing.
played. So, what brings you to Bridewell?
Treachery. I have been falsely accused.
Of course you have.
You do not believe me?
Why should I? You've the look of a brute.
You misjudge. I'm an honest man.
And yet, also a man imprisoned. Tell me how you found yourself in this place.
It is a private matter.
As is what you ask of me.
I was trying to prevent a murder.
Oh! Anyone I know?
George Washington.
Damn it.
The others put you up to this, didn't they? Thought it might be fun to have another laugh at Mason's expense. Fools, a lot of them. To make light of something like this. George Washington is brave beyond measure. Loyal like a brother, peerless in character, and unshakable in his convictions. That man is our Jupiter Conservator. Destined to lead us not just to freedom, but greatness. Anyone who says otherwise is either a simpleton or a traitor.
Then you understand why I need to get out of here. If I don't help him, he is going to die.
You're serious, aren't you?
Yes.
Very well. But it's going to take some doing. See, everything hinges on the key I forged. But that loud Finch stole it. Took me 3 months to make the thing, too. You need to get it back, or we're not going anywhere.
Consider it done.
Fish pocket Finch. Without being detected.
Excellent leatherwork. He learned his craft from a Spaniard of all things. What the Spaniards were doing in the colonies back then is anybody's guess. I think he will join us for the hunting on
He's right above me. Damn it! Doing so well either, as well. Okay. Fucking hell! So if I can't freaking do this... How am I supposed to pickpocket him without being detected? Gotcha. Oh. Did it.
This key is useless.
What are you looking at? You in the market for husband?
You think you scare him? Oh, now 47. Not bad.
Your key is useless.
What do you mean?
It did not fit the lock.
It's not meant to.
You forged a key that does not work.
Well, that all depends on what you mean by work. It'll get us out of here. Just not the way you expected.
Then how?
You're going to use it to get the real key off the warden. You have to swap yours for his.
Why not just have me take the real key? Why all this extra work?
He might notice if it went missing. This way, he'll be none the wiser.
And when he tries to use it?
He won't. That's why we're targeting him.
How do I reach the warden?
Yes. This next part, you may not like.
Oh, as if I've liked the others. Out with it.
You need to pick a fight.
What?
Pick a fight, and they'll throw you in the pit.
And how in the world does this help us?
The warden oversees the pit. Getting sent there is the only way to reach him.
I'll give you credit. You've given this plan to risk my life a great deal of thought.
Take down as many as you can. 1 or 2 will only serve to entertain the guards. You need to make them angry. We all have our part to play. Try not to die.
That was fun. Got some anger out.
Fancy yourself a troublemaker, eh? Some time in the pit should cool your blood.
Look at all of you, pathetic, dirty wretches.
You're not but swine, suckling at the teats of civilization. Thieves and scoundrels all. And do you acknowledge this? Do you repent and beg forgiveness? No. You elect instead to commit new and more terrible crimes inside what should be a place of rehabilitation. You bide your time, awaiting the day of release, that you might corrupt anew. The worst part is that the good people of New York are forced, quite literally, to pay for your crimes. Where do you think the money for this prison came from?
Yes. I feel like
Need to take care not to raise the alarm.
Wait. Oh, no map available. Fuck. So, oh, it's up those stairs. Okay.
You'll find Hickey through that door. It's where they keep the important prisoners. Nicer rooms, more space, those sorts of things. It seems even in prison, who you know makes all the difference.
Thank you, Mason, for everything. I will find a way to repay the favor when my work here is finished.
I'm not gonna make it in that time. Hmm. Damn it! Okay, so I'm not supposed to be detected. Okay. I don't even know how they... Yeah. Damn it! Ah, damn it, I was supposed to press the knockout, not punch. Oh! Okay. Okay. Right. Oh. It's not even him. He's not there. Because he's already dead.
Not what you was expecting, am I right?
What have we here? I thought we'd finished off your kind.
You would like that, wouldn't you? To rid the world of all who do not share your views.
Guilty as charged. Your meddling in the revolution has caused us no small measure of grief. It cannot continue. Our work is too important. But what would you know beyond all the lies Achilles feeds you and the tales you tell yourself?
I know that the people wish to be free, and that men like Washington fight to make it so.
Please, the man is weak. He stumbles and stammers through each engagement, making it all up as he goes along. His pedigree is pathetic, his military record even more so. I could go on and on, but we'd be here for days, so manifold are his faults, so deficient are his merits. He must be dealt with. You as well. I will abide no more flies in the ointment.
Here's how it's gonna work. First we bind you and bring you to your cell. Then tomorrow, you go before the court, accused of plotting to kill good old Georgie. Maybe we could pin the murder of the warden on you too. You did kill him after all. And who wouldn't take the word of Charlie over here? Once that's all squared away, well then.
All those years ago, the child in the forest was you.
Yep.
I said I would find you.
And so you have. But not quite as you had expected, am I right? You know, all of this might have been avoided had you only done what I asked. But what's done is done.
Oh, yay! I got full synchronization of that.
Up! Up with you! I said get up! Walk!
Bye now! Hello, Connor. Didn't think I'd miss your going away party, did ya? I hear Washington himself is going to be in attendance. Hope nothing bad happens to him.
You said there'd be a trial.
Oh, no trial for traitors, I'm afraid. Lee and Haytham sorted that. It's straight to the gallows for you.
I will not die today. The same cannot be said for you.
That's enough! Keep moving!
Oh. Yeah. How are they clueless?
You are not alone. Only give a cry when you need us.
Forget about me. You need to stop Hickey. He's...
Up you go. Don't want to be late now, do we? You just had to be an hero, didn't you? You and Georgie both. Now you see what it gets you. A pine box, little else.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be doing that cry.
Brothers, sisters, fellow patriots. Several days ago, we learned of a scheme so vile, so dastardly, that even repeating it now disturbs my being. The man before you plotted to murder our much-beloved general. Indeed, what darkness or madness moved him, none can say, and he himself offers no defense, shows no remorse. And though we have begged and pleaded with him to share what he knows, he maintains a deadly silence. If the man will not explain himself, if he will not confess and atone, what other option do we have but this? He sought to send us into the arms of the enemy. And thus we are compelled by justice to send him from this world. May God have mercy on your soul.
Need to stop Hickey. Go!
Damn it. I thought I'd at least live to see another day. Shame.
I want answers. Why did Johnson try and buy my people's land? Why was Pitcairn targeting Adams and Hancock? What purpose would Washington's murder have served? Why does your order support the British?
How should I know? The Templars, Lee, the big man, Haytham, they has the money. They has the power. That's the reason I threw in with them. That's the only reason. Sure, they have some sort of vision for the future, too. I didn't give a damn about any of that. They can sing their songs about mankind and its troubles. They can make their plans and spring their traps. Don't bother me none. They paid me, So I said yes. Didn't bother to ask who, or how, or why. Didn't care.
You chose to side with men who would rob us of our humanity simply because it was more profitable?
What else is there? I'm not some blind fool to give up all I've got on principle. What is principle anyway? Can you bring it to the bank? Don't look at me like that. We're different, you and I. You're just some blind fool who's always chasing butterflies. Whereas I'm the type of guy who likes to have a beer in one hand and a tea in the other. Thing is, boy, I can have what I seek. Had it even. Your hands will always be empty.
At ease, men! At ease! I said, lower your goddamn guns! This man's a hero! Oh, the General can be so stubborn sometimes. Piffle, he said, when we warned him something like this would happen. Piffle!
Stop.
He wanted to kill the commander. Nearly killed you as well. He was a scoundrel.
But still a man.
You're nothing if not consistent.
Where is Washington? I need to speak with him.
Bundled off as soon as your execution went sideways. He's likely on his way back to Philadelphia by now.
And so am I.
Something wrong?
He is still in danger. Hickey did not act alone.
It's quite impressive what you've accomplished.
Is that a compliment?
Now, don't misconstrue. I'm sure the whole endeavor will end tragically. But to have come this far, well, it's more than I ever expected.
The people yearned for freedom but feared to grab hold of it. That fear is gone now.
Thanks to you?
No. This they did on their own.
You diminish your role. But you have always been of humble heart.
I do what is right. No more, no less.
You cannot tell him.
I have to. Otherwise, he will never be safe.
He is safer not knowing. By planting the seeds of doubt, you threaten to topple his entire endeavor. If Washington is paralyzed, Charles Lee will strike. You'll cause the very thing you aim to prevent. Hunt the Templars, as is your duty. But do not drag these men into it.
And for the support of this...
We must now all hang together.
Yes, we must indeed all hang together. Or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately.
You are once more our savior.
I must speak with the commander.
He's gone to try and hold New York. The British intend to take it. I fear we'll need to recall our men from Quebec as well. It's one thing to declare our independence. Now, my friend, we must make it so.
Everything all right? Sean has located a second power source. I've asked Rebecca to charter a flight for us.
Where to?
Brazil.
You there, Rebecca?
Bad reception. Can you hear me?
Well, glad to see that's working. Guess I'll try you back when I'm topside. Plan.
According to our intel, the power source is being worn as a bracelet by some tycoon's trophy wife. We're working on pinpointing her location, but she's most likely inside a VIP booth on the stadium's upper level. I'll update you when I know more.
Now to find a ticket.
We don't have time to play nice. Steal someone else's.
Bit of a dick move, don't you think?
Well, I guess you could try and sneak past security instead.
Certo, pode entrar.
Preciso ver seu bilhete. Bilhete? Preciso ver seu bilhete.
Senhoras e senhores, por favor, cooperem com a equipe de segurança.
Bilhete?
That doesn't look like normal security.
Because it isn't. Those are Abstergo agents. Cross is probably here too. You need to be careful.
Preciso ver seu bilhete.
Quick, Desmond! Hide! Blend or do something! Don't let them see you.
That doesn't look like normal security.
Because it isn't. Those are Abstergo agents. Cross is probably here too. You need to be careful. Your target's definitely in the VIP area. The entrance is at the end of this concourse.
Chame a segurança imediatamente se o vir.
Lot of security. Make sure they don't see you. Blending with the crowd's your best bet.
Estamos procurando este homem. Se ver algo suspeito, fale com a gente imediatamente.
track the guards more easily by using eagle vision.
Reconhece este homem? Tem certeza? Pense bem. É importante.
Don't forget about your eagle vision, Desmond. I'm telling you, there's definitely a way to get past those guards. If you won't go through them, try going around them.
Estamos procurando este homem. Se ver algo suspeito, fale com a gente imediatamente.
Eagle vision might help here. Quick, Desmond!
Great.
Hide.
They've set up a checkpoint.
Do something!
O que é isso?
Você viu esse homem? Imediatamente que o vi.
Stick close to the crowd and you should be okay. Or look for a way around it. Look out!
That doesn't look like normal security.
Because it isn't. Those are Abstergo agents. Cross is probably here too. You need to be careful. Your target's definitely in the VIP area. The entrance is at the end of this
Você viu
concourse.
esse homem? Chame a segurança imediatamente se o vir.
Lot of security. Make sure they don't see you. Blending with the crowd's your best bet.
Estamos procurando este homem. Se ver algo suspeito, fale com a gente imediatamente.
There's gotta be a way to slip past them. A side room, maybe? Hallway? Something?
Reconhece este homem? Tem certeza? Pense bem. É importante.
I'm telling you, there's definitely a way to get past those guards. If you won't go through them, try going around them. Eagle vision might help here.
Great. They've set up a checkpoint.
You can track the guards more easily by using eagle vision. Stick close to the crowd and you should be okay. Or look for a way around it.
Ele tá aqui! Ele tá aqui! O homem dos cartazes! Deixe-me ver.
Don't forget about your eagle vision, Desmond.
Eu não posso... Ele sumiu! Mas ele não poderia ter ido longe! Eu vi ele faz pouco tempo!
Watch your back, they're onto you. Eagle vision might help here.
Seriously, what is the deal with stadiums and piss troughs? It's disgusting. And who thought they were a good idea?
Troughs are time and cost efficient.
I don't even see a stall in here. What if I have to take a dump?
Yeah, please just mute the microphone if you do.
Looks like I'm close. Shit! Another checkpoint.
You're gonna have to find another way around. Security's too tight here.
Temos que verificar sua identidade.
Security's headed towards you.
Como assim? Trabalho aqui há 15 anos e nunca vi nada como isso. Quem vocês pensam que são?
Sugiro abaixar o tom de voz.
Ah, está bem. Faça a porcaria da verificação. Olha, aconteceu, só isso. A gente não queria que acontecesse. Só aconteceu. Sinto muito.
Sente muito? Ela é minha irmã, cara! A porra da minha irmãzinha!
A gente se ama. Pronto, tá aí, tá dito. A gente se ama e já...
Almost there, Desmond. She's just on the other side of the stadium.
Other side?
Use the catwalks to get across. You're really close now. The power source should be in one of the rooms up here. Hurry, Desmond. If he gets away with the artifact, we're screwed. You can't let that happen.
Aquele cara tá maluco! Aquele cara tá maluco!
Alguém está na segurança!
We can get back to Connor whenever you're ready, Desmond. Unless you want to plug in the power source first. Up to you.
I really don't think I'm going the right way. Ah! Get back up. Oh. That door there. No. Hey. Can't go through there. What? Oh, of course I fall down. Okay, get down. Oh. Up. No. What? Sorry, I'm watching YouTube while doing this. Because I can't remember how I got back there. Okay, sorry that took me a while.
Wonder what stories the temple will tell me today.
Huh? What the hell did I'm liking it, because it's about the Revolutionary War.
I'm telling you, there's something down here.
Don't be daft.
I don't know, maybe they were sleeping or something and we woke them. Some kind of cryogenics? Or hibernation? I mean, how do we know what the hell they were doing down here?
They were working on a bunch of different solutions, but nothing worked. Just went from one to the next, and then... I don't know. They must have left at some point. After the end.
Kinda figured.
What the world would be like if they'd succeeded.
I'm more concerned about what it'll be like if we don't.
Salvation. They found a way. Too late for them. But not for you. Sealed. To protect it. Though now it bars your way. Find the key. The past will tell.
What key? I'm loving this. Revolutionary War, learning.
I found a third power source.
Oh.
Already? It popped up in an earlier search, but I've only just managed to confirm it.
Where?
There's a museum in Cairo with one on display.
I guess Connor will have to wait.
No, you stay. We need to find that key, and time is running.
I don't know. I now don't have to go get the third key. Power source.
The air is still and sharp with grim expectation. The others sense it too and go about their work with uncommon urgency. I would like to help them, but more pressing matters now demand my attention. The Templars have targeted George Washington directly, and will not rest until he is dead. I had hoped to shield him from this knowledge, but Thomas Hickey ended any hope I had of staying silent. And so I have resolved to share everything I know, of the Templars and their plots, of who I really am. Achilles finds fault in this, and we argue every day, but there is simply too much now at stake to maintain restraint.
Don't do this, Connor.
Then what would you propose we do? Sit and watch while the Templars take control? We are sworn to stop them, or have you forgotten?
Assassins are meant to be quiet, precise. We do not go announcing conspiracies from the rooftops to all who pass by.
Who are you to lecture anyone? You locked yourself away in this crumbling heap and gave up on the Brotherhood entirely. Since the day I arrived, you've done nothing but discourage me. And on the rare occasions you've chosen to help, you've done so little, you may as well have done nothing at all.
How dare you!
Then tell me, on whose watch did the Brotherhood falter? Whose inaction allowed the Templar Order to grow so large that it now controls an entire nation?
If I sought to dissuade you, it was because you knew nothing. If I was reluctant to contribute, it was because you were naive. 1,000 times you would have died and taken God knows how many with you. Let me tell you something, Connor. Life is not a fairy tale, and there are no happy endings.
No. Not when men like you are left in charge.
In your haste to save the world, boy, take care you don't destroy it. Ha!
I was muted through that whole thing. I'm gonna have to read that again. I am so sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. Let me do that again. I am so sorry. Hickey resurfaced during the rebel occupation of New York in 1776. He became a member of George Washington's personal bodyguard, probably known among the soldiers as the Life Guard. I'd imagine it took some pretty clever political maneuvering brain to get him there. Given his record, I've seen some suggestions that he was a well-respected member of the Connecticut militia, but I can't find a service record for him there, and I have my doubts Hickey could ever have been described as well-respected. In any case, Hickey immediately betrayed his commission by planning to assassinate Washington. Maybe TH stood for that hooligan. History tells us that Thomas Hickey was hanged for sedition in front of 20,000 troops, as an example. That's an interesting interpretation of events, but since New York didn't have stadium seating at the time, I doubt many of the soldiers had a great view of the execution. The important message for them was, don't be a traitor, you'll get hanged, not the niceties of who was on the gibbet. Ooh, Alexander Hamilton! Ooh. Alexander Hamilton was one of George Washington's trusted advisors during the American Revolution and the first Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Hamilton was born in 1757 in the West Indies and was orphaned at the age of 11. However, his cleverness showed early and his employers pooled their money to send him to a university. Either that or they just wanted him out of the building. Hamilton moved to New York in 1773 and began attending King's College, later Columbia University. By 1774, he was writing pro-rebel articles, not really in the spirit of attending somewhere named after the king. And by 1775, he joined the volunteer militia. Again, probably not exactly what his sponsors had in mind when they sent him there. Hamilton fought during the occupation of New York in 1776. He was a natural leader, and George Washington appointed him an aide-de-camp, a job he held for 5 years. However, Hamilton was eager to get back into battle, and in 1781 he commanded troops during the decisive victory at Yorktown. Hamilton became a member of Congress for New York in 1788. He developed a particular fixation on the funding of the federal government, which at the time was, well, broke, as it wasn't allowed to demand any taxes from the member states. While that may sound wonderful when you're looking at your federal tax bill, it meant the government couldn't do things like pay their army soldiers like getting paid. In 1787, Hamilton was named the first Secretary of the Treasury, where he fought for a strong federal government in heated opposition with Thomas Jefferson, who promoted states' rights. Hamilton was responsible for creating much of the foundation of the U.S. fiscal policy, the details of which are probably important, but so indescribably boring I can barely be bothered to even finish a sentence. But I did because I care. Independence Hall. This was built between the 1730s and the 1750s to be the Pennsylvania State House. The architecture is Georgian, which was popular at the time and essentially means the building was made to look similar to English manor houses of its day. Georgian, of course, being a reference to King George. Some of the most important documents in the American Revolution came out of this building. The Declaration of Independence was first debated and signed here. The United Constitution was drafted here. And if that weren't enough, the Liberty Bell rang in the bell tower to summon people to meetings. Before it cracked beyond repair, and of course, and also before it was really known as the Liberty Bell, but we won't let that get in the way of a good story. The building became known as Independence Hall in the 1820s, a result of the Marquess de Lafayette making a return trip to the United States. Lafayette's visit was meant to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Revolution, and to remind a new generation what had happened and where. It worked, creating a sense of natural history and an obsession with tagging things with the word liberty, independence, freedom, and Washington. Declaration of Independence. Date: passed July 4th, 1776. Hence, July 4th being a popular holiday in America. Nowhere else in the world celebrates July 4th besides America. You may or may not have heard of this one. This is the document in which the 13 colonies formally declared their independence from Britain. Congress voted to accept the Declaration on July 4th, 1776, celebrated today as Independence Day in the United States. Contrary to popular belief, the document wasn't actually signed on July 4th. The first signatures weren't added until the Declaration was formally transcribed sometime around the beginning of August. Others were added as the delegates arrived in Philadelphia. By some accounts, the final signature wasn't added until sometime in 1777. The Declaration, with its statement that all men are created equal and that they had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, became an inspiration for other revolutions that came after it, most notably the French Revolution, against the very government that supported the Americans in their bid for independence. Oops. The Declaration of Independence. Liberty! Congress unanimously declares the United Colonies free and independent states. Yesterday, the representatives of all 13 colonies resolved and declared the independence of their citizens and formally dissolved all ties with Britain. This Declaration of Independence, as it is so entitled, was drafted by a committee of authors, principally Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin. Oh, I don't know what the Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin, and expresses in language more eloquent than we are able to describe the events and reasoning that have led to this final disruption. The Second Constitutional Congress began work on this document months ago. Some few among the representatives have every aspiration that the colonies would reconcile with the king and reasonable rights secured. With each additional regiment dispatched to these shores, the hope diminished until all voted in unanimity to serve ourselves from our mother country. John Adams declares that this day should be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations. From one end of this continent to another, form this time forevermore. One of the most popular books in American history. Mainly because Americans thought it was a book about common sense, and on some level knew they needed it. At the time, most of the literature about independence was written by lawyers and politicians, in the kind of self-important florid language that only can be understood by college graduates or written by me. However, Common Sense lived up to its title. It was written in straightforward language, so basically anyone could understand its arguments, even people who couldn't read. The book was so popular there was numerous public readings of the text, making it an early audiobook in many ways. While the book wasn't what convinced Congress of the value of independence they already knew, it did cause the groundswell of popular support, and that was important because Congress needed the public on their side, and they needed to convince soldiers to fight for them. Common Sense did both. I don't have any record of Connor actually meeting Payne, but I thought you'd like to know about him as his works played such a crucial role in the revolution. Yes, I put this at the end so you read the whole thing before finding that out. I can be a bastard that way. This is all stuff from New York when we were in New York. City Hall. This building served as New York City Hall starting in 1702. It was also the city jail under the new goal opened in 1759. Despite New York's historically loyalist leanings and the building has decidedly rebel-slanted past, delegates from 9 of the colonies met here to coordinate protests against the Stamp Act. That meant representatives from British instituted legislators were protesting what British Parliament thought best. A truly huge step at the time. After the Constitution was ratified in 1789, Congress began to meet here in the building renamed Federal Hall. George Washington was inaugurated as president on the balcony on April 30th, 1789. Oops, sorry, spoiler alert. Yes, he wins the war and becomes president, and then it turns out he was a ghost all along. The building was expanded in 1788 but tore down in 1812. Despite its name, the modern-day Federal Hall National Memorial, in New York City was never actually Federal Hall. Mason Locke Weems. Mason Locke Weems, later known as Parson Weems, was a one-time parish rector who became a traveling bookseller, writer, and editor. He's mostly famous for his biography of the life of George Washington, first published in 1800. He was briefly the rector for Mount Vernon Parish, meaning he counted George Washington as one of his parishioners. Weems was a colorful character and a bit of a rogue, always with the same story to tell, most of them completely untrue or vastly exaggerated. It's from Weems' biography of Washington that we get the well-known story of young George bravely confessing that he chopped down his father's prized cherry tree. Weems writes that the story is too true to be doubted, but who knows whether the phrase too true to be doubted is too true to be doubted. Try saying that line 5 times very fast. Weems also went on to write biographies of Benjamin Franklin, Francis Marone, and William Penn. Again, prizing being entertaining over actual fact. They sold well, however, paving the way for tabloid newspapers everywhere. Broad Street. Broad Street is not Broadway, though you've been forgiven for some confusion as they are right next to each other. This street was named after Broad Canal, which used to run down the center. The canal was an inlet from the East River, and for part of its history you could canoe along it. But by the late 17th century, however, the water was so clogged that was so difficult and inadvisable. Houses had been built alongside, and both residents and local vendors used the canal to dispose of trash and sewage. When the British regained New York in 1674, they made so many improvements to the city, one of which was filling in the now stinking canal and paving the streets over it. You can thank me on behalf of all the Brits later. Nowadays, Broad Street is in the middle of the financial district and is mostly homes to banks and another site you might recognize, the column facade of the New York Stock Exchange. Ow. The hell? And we have Wall Street. In the 17th century, this marked the edge of the city of New Amsterdam, and it was the location of the city's 12-foot palisade wall. The wall itself was torn down by British in 1699, but the name Wall Street stuck. By the late 18th century, this was already becoming a financial center. Traders met at the Merchant Coffee House at the corner of Water Street and under a buttonwood tree outside to trade securities. Oh, excuse me. And this buttonwood tree is the site of the Buttonwood Agreement, which was the beginning of the New York Stock Exchange. Ooh, excuse me. The street is only 8 blocks long today as you see it here in the late 1700s. It seems extremely small, remember. The skyscrapers are tall rather than wide, otherwise they'd be called floor huggers. Okay, that is not everything. Oh. Hang on. Oh, okay, we got more. Breed's Hill. Technically, the Battle of Bunker Hill could have been called the Battle of Breed's Hill. This is where the Continental Army built their main fortifications, and so most of the fighting happened here. Breed's Hill had only one thing to recommend it over Bunker Hill. It was closer to Boston, which made it easier to fire artillery at the city. Though, of course, one disadvantage of this situation was that it was also a lot easier for Boston to fire back. Nobody knows why William Prescott chose this spot over Bunker Hill. It's possibly that since he was working on fortifications in the dark, Prescott didn't realize how vulnerable the hill actually was until sun rose, by which point it was a little too late to up a move. I imagine that was probably quite an awkward moment. Bunkers Hill. This is the largest hill on Charleston Peninsula. I can never say that word correctly, I am so sorry. And the closest to the mainland. During the Battle of Bunker Hill, rebel reinforcements arriving on Charlestown I'm going too fast. Arriving on the Charlestown Peninsula, headed to Bunker Hill, but weren't so sure what to do once they got there. Rather than joining the battle which was raging on Breeders' Hill nearby, they wandered aimlessly around Bunker Hill, so disorganized they hadn't even bought a picnic. Israel Putnam, he was here attempting to direct troops, giving vulnerable instructions such as the famous "don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes," which he probably said several times to anyone who listened, and to be fair, it's a pretty great quote. That seemed to be the only one of his directions that stuck. Many of his other orders were either misunderstood or deliberately disobeyed. Given the disorganized state of the Continental Army at the time, it was probably a little of both. Charleston. Charleston, in the name of both the small town to the north of Boston and the peninsula it sits on. The peninsula was the site of the Battle of Bunker Hill, which was sometimes called the Battle of Charleston, since the fighting did span across more than one hill. This is also where Paul Revere started his well-known midnight ride, which I still think sounds like something you do with a lady. As to the town of Charlestown, well, while it was established prior to 1775, little of it survived the Battle of Bunker Hill. Continental Army snipers were stationed here to harass British troops, and the British set fire to the town to root them out. Most of the buildings were razed, and the rest was burned down during a raid in January 1776. The only part of the town to survive the war was the street layout. Charlestown was rebuilt, however. It's now a part of Boston. Hi. Moulton's Hill. The lowest hill on Charlestown Peninsula, standing at 32 feet or about 10 meters high, it is sometimes referred to as Moulton Hill or Moulton's Point. This is where General Howie's troops landed during the Battle of Bunker Hill. Boston's actually on the opposite side of the peninsula, but Howie took the longer route around to outflank the revolutionaries on their left side. That was his excuse for taking the long route anyway, and he was sticking to it. However, Howie made a mistake when he arrived. He saw Continental troops on Bunker Hill and assumed they were newly arrived reinforcements. They were mostly just confused and milling around like aimless youths outside a shopping mall. Howe halted to wait for his own reinforcements, which gave the Continental Army time to shore up weak spots in their defenses. This made the battle much longer and more difficult than it might have been. It also means that there was advantage to the chaos in the Continental Army that day. They managed to confuse their enemies as well as themselves. It's not a bad tactic. To this day, if anyone starts with me, I just spin around and shout about tables until they are too confused and amble off. Okay, New York. Smith and Company Brewery. At last, we can talk about beer. This brewery was built in 1752 by Jonas Smith and his son, Elias. By 1775, it was the largest brewery in New York. Smith was normally loyalist, but that didn't stop him from providing beer to Washington's army when it was stationed in the town, or to the British regulars after their arrival. It seemed neither army cared about loyalists where beer was concerned. That's the kind of business attitude that built America, the American dream. As if. Let's do groups first. Copper Ring. This was a network of rebel spies operating in New York and Connecticut from 1778 until quite a kick out of rebel spies. To report on British troop movements. He asked his newly appointed head of intelligence, Benjamin Talmadge, to find some spies, which Talmadge did. Talmadge needed people that he could trust absolutely, so he began by recruiting his childhood friends. Nothing says friendship quite like offering someone a job that involves risking their life. The name Culper Ring is taken from Samuel Culper Sr. and Samuel Culper Jr., the code names of two of the Ring's main informants. I didn't know who they were, but I imagine one was slightly older than the other. The group's biggest accomplishment was probably informing Washington of a planned attack on the French forces in Rhodes Island in 1780. They also credited with uncovering Benedict Arnold's betrayal of West Point, though the evidence for that is sketchier. In any case, the Ring delivered secret messages for years, with none of its members ever being captured, with one possible exception, a woman referred to as 355, whose real identity and fate isn't known. The group is credited for being the most effective intelligence operation in the war, on either side. You can't know how much it pains me to write that. It took ages. Individuals. Israel Putnam. Born 1718. Israel Putnam, or more effectively known as Old Put, is something of a legendary figure in the Revolutionary War history, and possibly its best-known soldier. A bit of a folk hero, if you will. Putnam was born in Massachusetts, but later moved to Connecticut to take up farming. His credit was killing the last wolf in the colony, crawling into his den with a musket, a torch, and a rope tied around his feet so he could be pulled back out. He really didn't like wolves. Oh, and I believe I mentioned he was a folk hero. That's only part of it. He joined the colonial militia during the French and Indian War, where he earned a reputation for bravery and inspiring the soldiers around him. He was captured by a group of... I'm not going to pronounce that, I am sorry. In 1758 and rescued just before he was executed. In 1762, he was shipwrecked in Cuba while on campaign there, where, you'll love this, he learned about cigars. He became a habitual smoker and is credited with introducing the cigar to the colonies. After the war ended, Putnam returned to Connecticut, where he was a vocal opponent of the British tax policies that led to the Revolution. He funded the Connecticut branch of the Sons of Liberty, where he heard about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. He immediately signed up for the Continental Army and was named Brigadier General of the Connecticut Forces. I know I said the first word wrong. I am sorry. He commanded troops at Bunker Hill and the near success of the rebels that sealed his reputation. Washington had high hopes for Putnam as a leader, and he was named Washington's second-in-command in New York just prior to the Battle of Long Island. Unfortunately, Putnam was a good soldier, but a poor tactician. The battle at Long Island was a rout. Putnam fared no better at his next post guarding forts on the Hudson River, where he was outmatched by General Henry Clinton. After that, Putnam requested to be assigned to recruitment, and Washington agreed. Still, at least he had cigars. No, there's another individual. Ow. Benjamin Tallmadge, born 1754. Benjamin Tallmadge was the head of intelligence for the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. The British, of course, would have called that an oxymoron. Tallmadge was originally from New York but moved to Connecticut before the Revolution broke out. He served as a lieutenant and then a major in the militia, before being asked by George Washington to lead the intelligence department. Tallmadge used his contacts in New York to form the Copper Ring, a league of spies that observed and reported on the British actions in New York. It's possible his contacts also discovered Benedict Arnold's treachery, but that's disputed. After the war, Tallmadge returned to Connecticut, where he became a merchant and politician. He was elected to the House of Representatives in 1801. Is that... No? Oh, John Pitcairn updated again. Oh. It's historically debated whether Pitcairn went to Lexington and Concord to see rebel weapons stores or to find and arrest John Hancock and Samuel Adams, who were hiding in Lexington at the time. Possibly it was a little of both. Pitcairn's story is that he wanted to find Adams and Hancock to negotiate with them, and he would have been the ideal person to do it. I'm still puzzled as to why he tried negotiating a truce with an army at his back. Though, it sort of sends the wrong message, don't you think? Well, duh. He wasn't there to... Just checking. Nothing new, cool. He wasn't there to fucking... Oh, what is it? Negotiate. If you're going to negotiate with someone, you don't send an army with you. You go on your own. He was going there to arrest them and possibly unalive them. Battle of Bunker Hill. Date, June 17th, 1775. Bunker Hill was one of the first battles in the Revolutionary War. Technically, the rebels lost, but it was a Pyrrhic victory for the British. Let me set this up a bit. There were two places where rebel forces would have been able to mount attack on British-occupied Boston. One was the Charleston Peninsula to the north, the other was Dorchester Heights to the south. When rumors started that the British was going to fortify the hill around Charleston, the rebels decided to act. By which I mean do something, not to put on a little play. On the night of June 16, 1775, troops under the command of William Prescott sneaked onto the peninsula, occupying Bunker Hill and built fortification on Breed's Hill. It was a tactical, terrible choice. Breed's Hill was easier for enemies to climb and much more open to attack, and close enough to the British ships in the harbour to come under fire. In fact, Prescott's orders were to fortify Bunker Hill. It's uncertain why he made the switch. Maybe he had trouble with B words, like bunker and breeds. He probably thought he was fighting against the Belgians, not the Brits. Fortunately for the rebel army, it seemed the British was almost as tactically inept as they were. When General Howe landed troops at Moulton's Hill, he waited for reinforcements rather than attacking immediately. This gave the rebel forces time to shore up their fortifications. When Howe finally did attack, he divided his forces, expecting disorganized rebel army to fall before him, which it didn't. In fact, the British forces attacked and retreated twice before winning the day. After they received more reinforcements and the rebels were mostly out of ammunition. The casualty reports are telling 228 British soldiers dead, including many of their officers, and more than 800 injured. On the rebel side, 301 injured and 140 deaths. The Continental Army had shown that they could hold their own against better trained British Army, and it's hard to say which side was more surprised by that. It still surprises me to this day. Yeah, I will admit that surprises me as well. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Nope. Okay. New York. Buttonwood Agreement. Date signed 1792. The Buttonwood Agreement is the precursor to New York Stock Exchange. It was signed in 1792 under a buttonwood tree on Wall Street, hence the name. Luckily, it wasn't a monkey puzzle tree. That would not be a dignified name at all. The agreement itself is fairly simple. 24 local merchants agree that they will trade only with one another and that they would take a 0.25% commission on whatever they traded. And in case you were thinking 1792 is too early for there to be stocks to trade, it wasn't. The first war bonds were released by Alexander Hamilton in 1790, 2 years before, so you're wrong. And you should probably keep your opinions to yourself. Is that everything? Yes? Okay, let's continue on. God, my throat hurts from all that reading. But you do the reading, you get more information. Oh, give me a second, I have a text message. Yeah, exactly. Oh, for fuck's sake. I am so sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. My bad. You are now incognito. I hope I'm going the right way. Oh, I am. Good. No, wrong way. Well, ladies and gents, Revolutionary War has started. Let's start this mission.
Commander.
Connor.
Any word on Lee?
Not yet. My apologies. I've been distracted. Supply caravans meant for the camp have gone missing. I suspect treachery. A traitor named Benjamin Church, recently released from prison, has vanished as well. The two events are surely related.
What was his crime?
He was caught sending letters to the Loyalists, detailing our troop strength. He claimed it was a scare tactic, that we might avoid war. A poor lie.
I will find Church for you.
Why? What reason have you to help?
Does it matter?
As you wish. We've received reports of trouble along the southern road. Might be he's responsible. I suggest you begin your search there.
Okay, I am going to end the live here, or the stream. I will see you in the next video since we've started Sequence 9. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!